Hey folks, Kilt Man here, Kilt Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very well. Now, we're on location again. Now, we're actually, although you can't quite tell from the less than scenic view I'm presenting you with right now, but we're in Welsh, Wales, and we're actually in Llandudno, or Llandudno as the rest of us outside of Wales tend to call it, but it's pronounced Llandudno. And right there is the Great Orme. In fact, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you that right now. Let's have a little look. Now, if you can see some seagull shit on the window. There's the Great Orme up there. We've climbed that numerous times because we've been here numerous times before. But look at all these lovely little roofs and weirdness. And look at those bloody noisy seagulls. You can hear them. You can see them. Those bastards have been keeping up that racket 24/7 because apparently right now it is their mating season. Well, it's not their mating season, but in June what's happened is they've had the mating season and now all the little chicks have now hatched and they grow very quickly and they are roosting in every chimney pot, on every roof, on every building, everywhere. Every rock and crevice on the Great Orme itself is festooned with seagulls. Legions of the bastards. And we went out last night, lots of drinky poos, lots of food, had a great time, and we came back and literally it was like 1 a.m. we got back into the room. That wasn't too bad, and we haven't slept because the seagulls kept up that hullabaloo constantly. At 4:30 this morning it was worse than ever. It was like an orchestra. It was like Hitchcock's The Birds was being reproduced right outside our window. Unbelievable, unholy racket. And it hasn't stopped. But you know what? Hey, it's all part of it. Anyway, folks, yeah, I'm in Wales. Has Kilt-Man got any whisky? You bet your ass I do. In a lovely engraved glass, Penderyn. And this particular, this is the Welsh single malt. We went on a tour at the Penderyn distillery, which is just down the road. They have another major distillery down South Wales, but this is a relatively new one. And oh my God. So we had a tour behind the scenes and how it all comes together, how the magic happens. And then we had a great big tasting session with another guy who led our tour called Chris. The amount of, I know you know me as Kilt-Man, but my real name is Chris. And the amount of Chris's that surround me these days. When Chris used to be, I was the only Chris in any environment. And like now, I'm just surrounded by them. They're everywhere. And not only that, but just had the big birthday, me and the wife. We're both Geminis, born the same day. You know all this. And but the amount of people who've got their birthdays around now, fellow Geminis, who are around me in our local pubs and what have you. And they're just, there's nothing unique about it at all these days, anyway. Cheers, folks. And cheers to Astrodine. Astrodine, your friend of mine. Astrodine, a traveller in time. Astrodine, who sent me that huge crate full of incredible cult pop iconic gems and treasures. Pure merch from heaven. And inside that box, that big crate, was also a bottle of Penderyn. And it was Penderyn Madeira. Now, we tried a few different Penderyn drinks today. And we ended up buying one. This one here. I'll show you. I mean, we've got a free glass as well. Yay! And this one is Legend. There you go. Now, they don't normally put any kind of engraving or illustration on their bottles. It's just the name Penderyn. That was the whole ethos behind it. We just want to keep this plain and simple. We want no sort of Welsh sort of, for the tourists. Women with them silly big black hats on and all that kind of thing. No dragons primarily. But they were asked by the French, who instigated a few different lines that they're coming up with. Can you just put a dragon on it? And we don't put no illustrations on. We're not giving our, we're Welsh and we're proud of it, but we're not doing all that kind of stuff for the tourists. We're not doing that kind of thing. And the guy went, well, that's a shame because I wanted to order over 200,000 bottles. Okay, how big do you want your dragon? So there it is. This is Legend. And it's lovely. Now, it comes in a great big presentation box. Again, embossed with a dragon. Fantastic. So, what else have I bought? I mean, today we've actually done a bit of spendy stuff, and I have found some things. But before I get on to that, I can't go anywhere without something happening. And we met another couple on this distillery tour, and we were talking to Chris, the tour guide, who looks just like Philip Schofield. I was racking my brain throughout the first sort of 20 minutes of this. I was thinking, oh God, he reminds me of someone. And then it came to me, it was the Silver Fox himself, Philip Schofield. Those of you in different parts of the world haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, but just Google Philip Schofield and you'll be confronted. He was the original Joseph in a Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was thinking Jason the Argonauts there. I'm not sure what kind of coat he wore. Oh, he wore a golden fleece, did he not? But yeah, he's a dead ringer, Philip Schofield, and a really nice top bloke. And we met this other couple from Stockton. As we walked out, we were talking to them. We were talking whiskey. We were just talking. We were at a crossroads. There's a big church on one side and a church hall on the other side. And a woman came running out. Well, I say running out. She actually had a great big sort of walking stick. She came scurrying out, hobbling, and called me from across the road. Can you come here? Can you come here? And I was like, what? I was in the middle of a conversation. I went, what? Me? She was like, yeah. Can you come in? Can I come in? And she said to me, we're hosting an event for a lot of people who've got dementia. I was on to a good start here, wasn't I? And we saw you going past with your kilt on. And there's a few Scots in here, including a couple from Glasgow. And, would you come in and just say hello to everyone? Well, you're not going to say no, are you? Of course not. So me and Mrs. Kilt-Man found ourselves in the middle of a great big party. And there was a black priest there whose name was Father Innocent Abonyan. Not Abunyan, Abonyan. But his first name was Innocent, which we'd all go, really? And he's like, yes, really. But all these old fogies were there, and they were loving the kilt, loving this, I just looked like a little sort of toy. I'm going on about the iconic imageries of Wales and how Penderyn don't want to use it on their whiskey bottles. But I look like, if you went to Scotland, you'd buy a little doll of a little Highlander. And it's even life-size for me as well, with a big, stupid, silly, ginger, carroty, stupid hair, big fuzzy wig on, and his tartan and all that. Yeah, that's me. So I'm the pure cliche from further north, and these guys are trying to ignore all that. But anyway, they all love this. But you don't sound very Scottish, says the Glaswegians. And I was like, no. Well, there's a good reason for that. I'm not born anywhere near there. I'm from Wallasey. But I explained all the, the heritage. I went through all that. But we were there for a good hour and a half because they flooded us with cups of tea, with scones, with jam and cream on them, and cakes. Oh, we made these cakes and all that, and they wouldn't let us go. And he said, there's a local celebrity here. Now, believe it or not, there's a guy called Monkey Man, right? Monkey Man. And there is a book that he's in, and I've gotten, just one second. Oh, where's she put it? Right, there we go, yeah. Okay. They were also selling these books there. There's always a catch, isn't there? And it's top 100 attractions, and this is the Welsh edition. Now, he features in this. He's actually from Birmingham, believe it or not. And it's a guy that's had bipolar. He's attempted suicide several times, not been too successful on that front. And he found in a charity shop a little toy monkey, a stuffed monkey. A plush, not a real monkey that's been stuffed. A toy monkey, a fuzzy, cuddly monkey. And he began to talk, he bought it, began to talk to it. And in the end, it became an act, a show that he walks up and down the streets. He did it in Birmingham, and then he moved here. And his wife was here, Samantha, I think her name is, and she's a singer. And the two of them parade up and down the streets of Llandudno. I mean, some of you people might know this guy. And we've been here loads of times, and we've never seen him before. But he was sitting there, and he was signing copies of this, because there is actually a couple of pages on this guy, which, you can bet now I can't find those pages. But let's just have a little look. I won't take too long doing this. Or will I? But he's Monkey Man, and he's in his 60s now. but he's a lovely, lovely bloke and does a lot for charity as well. And he's become like a local figure. And he was there. Oh, it's got to be here somewhere. Monkey Man. Oh, why didn't I mark the page? Jesus, where is he? Got him. Landlord No Monkey Man. I don't know if you can see that there. He wears different fancy dress and he walks his monkey in a pram or a pushchair. That's him and his wife on the beachfront here. And this is all a write-up about him. And so they go, Monkey Man, meet Kilt Man. So it was these two crazy, eccentric weirdos. So he's like, I'll sign the book for you. So it does say here, to the Kilt Man from the Landlord No Monkey Man, Sam and Amanda. Oh yeah, he's Sam, she's Amanda, yeah, and signed it. So, very nice, you know. But we were there for ages. In fact, we couldn't get away. And there's only so many scones you can eat. And full dairy stuff, I shouldn't eat anyway. It doesn't agree with me. And but you couldn't say no, could you? And another cup of tea, but of course, what milk are they using? Yeah, full dairy milk. I go, oh God, you know, I've got it. I'm going to have issues. And I'm looking around this rather less than palatial B&B room, and there's startlingly white sheets which are on that bed. Maybe not for much longer. Anyway, what else did I get today? Well, amazingly, I've already got the original edition of this. I'm going to bring it back round to our favourite topic, horror movies. Dawn of the Dead. This is the original novelisation of the 1978 classic from George A. Romero. You know it, you love it, of course you do. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. I've got the original version of this, which came out, the original British version came out in, I think, 78, 79. It just has surreal poster imagery from the original US one sheets and posters, which were nowhere near as good, of course, as the British quad poster, which you know I've got. And that came from Astrodyne as well, but you know I've got it, and I've shown you before, with the title Zombies, Dawn of the Dead. But George Romero wrote this with his wife, Susanna Sparrow, based on their own screenplay. And it does flesh out characters a bit more, gives a bit more background, gives their full names for a start. And in this, there's a puppy dog as well, because they're in the Monroeville shopping mall, and they've lost Roger, but they've gained a little puppy dog, and called Adam, I think they called it, and it survives as well. At the end, when Franco, who learns how to fly the helicopter after Flyboy's been shot in bitten to bits and then shot in the head by their friend Peter, because he's come back as a zombie, and then Peter's going to commit suicide with his little Derringer, and then realises, nah, fuck that. And then, like a football champion, charges through the hordes of zombies, climbs up the escape ladder onto the roof, just in time to get on board the helicopter and fly off to a very, very uncertain future with Fran, who's heavily pregnant as well. That's the film. It's exactly the same in this version, but they've got a little puppy dog. And the puppy dog, you'll be pleased to know, does survive to the end of the story. It's in the back of the helicopter as well, in a little safety cage. So, yeah. But this version, I just saw it in a charity shop and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to have that. Even though I've already got the book and it's a well-thumbed copy that I've got, and it's been around the world with me a few times, and it means a lot to me. It's one of those, even though it's not an original novel, it's a novelisation of a film that we know and love. But it does add a bit more and allows you to, expand on the characters that you've already adored and the scenario that you think you know so well. Just gives a bit more to it. And but as I say, mine's dog-eared and well-worn. But this was like a newer version. And I say a new introduction from Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg, of course, did Shaun of the Dead, and he's a massive, massive fan. And he does write a reasonably interesting introduction, several pages of which, I'm not going to read it out, but he talks about his introduction to the movie and he only got to watch it several years afterwards that it came out. I saw it when it first came out, and I've seen it pretty much consistently it seemed like almost every day for about 3 or 4 years during my tentative years when I should not be watching films of that calibre. But he discusses it being embroiled in the video nasty furore when it wasn't. Having lived through all the video nasty uproar and controversy, and I know all about it. I had all the titles, I had everything from illicit deals and tracking them down in video libraries that are about to close, having been in several video libraries where the police actually raided them and took out copies of other films. They did take out copies of The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. I've discussed all this before, I've reviewed these movies before, so you know all this stuff. And if you don't, just go back and check these videos. Put the titles in of the infamous movies with Kilt-Man in front of it, and you'll find a big sort of discussion about them, especially the zombie movies. But this was never, unless Simon Pegg got wind of a story where it got took off the shelves by mistake, it was never even brought in for questioning. It was censored heavily in the UK. There was a lot taken out of this movie when it first got released in cinemas and in on home video. But it was never actually banned, and the DPP never actually even brought it in for questioning. So I don't know where he gets that from. But people's memories of films and people's memories of how they first came across them, it's a very personal thing. And he talks about like how people he'd hear bits about it, you know, people talking in pubs and people saying this in school playgrounds and like, oh, Dawn of the Dead and zombies, or machete in the head, or a screwdriver in the ear, and all that sort of stuff. People getting ripped apart and all blah 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 blah. The helicopter decapitation, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's legendary. But I saw it straight away, albeit the cut down UK version. But within a couple of years afterwards, I actually had the full US NTSC version, a transfer of that. So I saw the full unrated version, and we know there's other cuts of it, Argento, and then there's it's got more cuts than The Man Who Died, The Death of 1,000 Cuts. I just struggled to think of an analogy there, didn't I? But anyway, I love the movies a bit, as you know, and it's just nice to pick up another version of the book because I love that imagery there. I love that. I love the fact you've got a little addition of Simon Pegg's introduction there, giving another personal account of how he came to understand this movie and what it means to him, and it clearly means a hell of a lot. And I got that. We got 3 books for £1. Hey, that was one of them. We did struggle to find 2 other books. Mrs. Kilt-Man bought one, which is over there, but I can't be arsed getting that for you because it's a girly-gog book. It's a drama of families over generations, you know, people with greed and lust and fucking rubbish, you know. It keeps it quiet for a bit though. Except when she goes, what does this word mean? And I also, to make up the 3, I got this. And it's Peaky Blinders, the real story. The true history of Birmingham's most notorious... The true history of Birmingham's most notorious gangs. I'm having trouble speaking today. It must be all the fresh air, or competing with that fucking shower of winged bastards. Now, I have seen only about 2 episodes of Peaky Blinders, and they were not from the beginning. I think they were season 3. I think it was approaching the finale of season 3. And but what I saw, I liked a lot. And what was it? Shelby. Is it something Shelby? See, I don't really know. But I saw this and I thought, you know what? I'm going to have this because I don't know the backstory of it. I've got books on the gangs of New York. I've got books on the gangs of London. I've got books on, you know, I don't know, gangs and true life gangs and sort of the villainy, the scurrilous deeds they got up to, and yeah, the camaraderie and brotherhood that they had. 8 books on the mafia, similar sort of thing. So I thought I'll pick this up. And, you know, for £1, you got 3 books. Okay, albeit one of which I already had. That's not the point. But I thought I'll have this. And it's got like 2 sections of photographs in it of the infamous characters themselves. So I'm not sure if the TV show Peaky Blinders is meant to be inherently totally accurate to what happened. I would say not. But I'm just guessing. This was a #1 Sunday Times bestseller written by a guy called Carl Chin. And he's a doctorate and, you know, professor of history and all that sort of stuff. MBE as well, PhD, social historian, writer, public speaker, and teacher, and an off-course bookmaker. But he knows his stuff, so I'm intrigued. What else about to show you? Well, this I did not buy today, but this I brought with me with the whole point of doing a video while I was here. On it, it's little Thor. There he is. It's Thor, Odin's son. This is Thor, Ravager Thor, from Thor, Love and Thunder, which is coming out, well, When is it coming out? July. And I always said I was going to get this figure. I'm going to get that vest, and I'm going to make or buy that jacket. There are versions of this jacket which you can buy now, this cut-off sort of sleeveless leather jacket, but they are not right. So if anyone's thinking of getting them, the ones that are out there now are wrong, because they have studs all the way across the back like this, all the way across the back and shoulders. The vest doesn't have it. This is accurate. It has, I don't know if you can see there, the Ravage in studs, but the Ravager's emblem is there. If you look on his belt buckle as well, you probably can't see the lens. He has the Ravager's emblem is on the belt buckle as well. He has his vest, which looks great. I can get that. I will get that. That is Yggdrasil, which is the tree of life, around which all the 9 realms, all these Asgardians and Norse people always go on about. The 9 realms float around this tree of life. Well, that's the emblem that's on there, the ancient Norse emblem. But clearly, Thor, after the events of Endgame, he's now got back. He's got back into shape. He does not at this stage have Mjolnir back, but we know who has, and it's Jane Foster, his ex-girlfriend. She's become worthy of wielding it. I've discussed all this. Just want to show you the figure. But this is how he looks for clearly what's going to be a good portion of the movie by the looks of things, and it's a look that I love. So I'm going to adopt that myself. You know what I'm like anyway. I'll do that. Because when he gets his full Asgardian armour again, I can't exactly go down the pub looking like that, can I? Can I? Should I? Would I? Will I? No, I won't. But I will go looking like this. So it's just, mind you, I'm not going to wear the jeans. I'll be this from the top up, but I might be able to affect the boots pretty well though. Anyway, the figure itself, there's a good likeness of Hemsworth. Again, it's one of these things where if you get it at certain angles you look at it from, it is definitely Hemsworth's face, and they really caught it well. You know, the blue eyes and the hair colouring, and the hair sculpt on the hair is pretty good as well. Because I've turned his head, the sculpt of his hair sweeping down his shoulders, actually his back is really good, but I've sort of turned it around because he's going that way. The grip on Stormbreaker is pretty good, so you can do some mighty two-handed grips and just one-handed swinging it around as well. But it's a great figure, and obviously the super steroidal size that Hemsworth got himself into. You can see that they've done that really well. Big, chunky bloody shoulders, huge arms, looks amazing. And there's quite a lot of articulation. You know, you've got lots of ankle swivelly bits, and you can do the calf. Now, hang on, you can't do the calf, but from below the knee and all that. The thigh will swivel. Sorry, the hip will swivel. No, the thigh will swivel. The hip will swivel. You've got lots of twist around there. You've got the ab twist as well, which I've seen people go like, well, the problem with that is when you crunch him up, half the vest disappears because the vest is sculpted on. But if I do that, you know, then half one of the design I'm wearing on my vest disappears as well. So it's what happens. So we can't knock it for that. The sculpt on the leather vest is actually really good as well. The detail is incredible. The contrast with the sort of red burgundy sort of look. Some people say it's pink. In actual fact, looking at it, it's more red than pink, but it's still quite outrageous. It's a pure rock star look, isn't it? It's a separate piece, and it's its own plastic, but it's very pliable. I don't think you can take it off. I don't think so. I'm not going to try. Well, unless you took his head off and maybe his arms off, you'd be stuck anyway. But why would you do it? Why would you do it? I can't think of a single reason why you would. Unless you want to try to mimic the scene where Russell Crowe as Zeus, you know, flip, and all of a sudden all his clothes come off, and he just goes, "You flipped too hard." But it's a great figure, I have to say. People say, why is he wearing that? Does it look like Peter Quill's Guardians jacket? Yeah, it does, because their connections to the Ravagers obviously goes back quite some way, and he's known as Ravager Thor, and we know that in the interim of Endgame to this, the Thor Love and Thunder, he has been, you know, prancing around the cosmos with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So he's got like the rock star version of Star-Lord's jacket, But with him, because he's got mighty big arms, he's had the sleeves cut off. Makes sense to me. Anyway, that is a Marvel Legends or Legends of Marvel. I don't know. But this is the figure from the current range to do with Thor: Love and Thunder, and I think pretty much most of the main characters are there in the range already. And when you get this, there's a little piece of an extra figure, and the extra figure, when you buy them all, you put it all together, it's Korg, and the great big stone guy. Korg, played by the film's director Taika Waititi, or rather voiced by him. So there you go. There's the booty of the day. Peaky Blinders, Dawn of the Dead, Monkey Man of Land Unknown, Thor, Odin's son, and how can I keep forgetting? I've got this down here. Some whiskey, some Welsh whiskey, Penderyn. Or Penderyn, I think you've got to say it, not Penderyn. So folks, now I've got to go back out again and have some fun. So by the time you see this, we'll be back home. So there you go, and I'll be back on track with doing some other stuff. Like yes, that Rambo video. Well, stuff. As I keep on saying, that little hurdle of life, stuff, it just gets in the way. It floats in front of your eyes, and you go, "What's that like?" And it distracts you from the path you were going to take. Oh, what's just arrived here? Oh, more stuff. Oh, I'll just have a look at this. But you're meant to be doing it. Stuff. This is urgent stuff. It's just turned up. Oh, this is interesting. Stuff gets in the way of all your plans. Anyway, folks, cheers, y'all. I shouldn't drink it that quickly. I should savour that. Anyway, you guys, keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. Whenever you may be, just have fun. Just, because what else is there to do? Just have fun. You're not put on this planet just to worry about the bills and worry about, am I going to heat the house? Do I put food on the table, or do I put the heating up? What do I do? Oh no, my job, I hate my job. Oh, God. Yeah, I've got all that shit as well. But the big difference is I don't give a shit. Because shit happens. You deal with it when it happens. It's all you can do. But if that's going to stop you having fun in the meantime and the in-between time, then, that's a serious problem that you've got. You've got to make time for yourself and the people that you love and care about. Which means I'll have to go back and catch up with the missus. Oh, God. And go and kill a few fucking seagulls on the way. No, I don't harbour any grudge against those noisy bastards, because what they're doing, as I think I was alluding to before, they've had the mating season, and now all the chicks have hatched and they grow very quickly. So this period now, this sort of mid to end of June, they're actually taking flight. Whoa, and they're giving it, hey, I'm in the well now. Look what I can do. But there's millions and more of them who are going like, yeah, but look what I can do. I'm the same age as you, but I've got better wings. So they're all competing with each other. They're all going, and they're trying to find mates of their own now. Oh, God. And, of course, constantly trying to get food off us dickheads who walk along the seafront with little bags of chips and ice creams. And these fuckers, which are actually really big, come swooping down. Hooray! And you've just lost basically a 3-course meal to a winged felon. And you see it all the time. And some of the cafes out here, and the bars, they have tables outside, obviously. We were walking down one street yesterday and we heard this massive clatter, and it sounded to me like some idiot just tipped a big glass table. They were, ah. No, it wasn't, because you heard all screams as well. No, it wasn't. It was 2 of them bloody seagulls landing at once on an empty glass table because there was crumbs left on a couple of plates, and everyone around was like, whoa. Plates and cutlery, I think a teapot got scattered, and obviously you can't go near them because they're bloody big and they're flapping around like, and they're squawking. Seagulls. They are the delinquents. We used to have battles between the mods and the rockers on the beaches. No, by far the biggest conflict is between human beings and seagulls. Anyway, folks, have been over, shall be, Kilt-Man. Please keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you what. Back on home turf.